Hello everyone, how are you today? Welcome back to SEDA College Online for one more class, and today we have a really interesting lesson. I'm just telling you from the beginning that I'm gonna need you to write a lot. So get ready, be right on your keyboard, and please, I want everyone to write answers in the comments and the live chat for the whole lesson, so please do your best, okay? So today we are going to focus on writing. That's why I want you to be really active in the comments. And our specific topic is describing pictures. But before we start, let me ask you my usual question. Go in the comments, start simple by telling me how do you feel today? Okay? And I expect more and more of you to be writing and participating. Okay, so get warmed up with this question because I need you to be there. Now, let's start. We will focus on describing pictures, as I told you, and we will see specific parts that we need. For example, what information do we need to write when we describe a picture? Now, if you follow my tips, you will be able to write really fast and very easily a description of a picture. Okay, and remember, usually your books or in the exams, you're asked to write around 120 to 150 or 180 words. So today, with my tips only, you will be able to write just 120 words really fast without having to think about it so much. The first aspect, as you see in the title, is the structure. What do I mean by that? Let's see. The structure is what are you going to describe first in a picture? Sometimes people may feel lost. They don't know where to start from. So here are a few options that you have. You can start describing from the left of the picture to the right, or from the right to the left, according to what you think is more important. Or another option is to move from the foreground, what you see behind, to the background. That was the opposite, right? Foreground, what you see in the front, background, what you see behind, or the opposite. Another thing that you can do is start from the details, specific things, and then move to general impressions. So what you see, what details you see, and what you can understand from these details. And your last option is move from the middle of the pictures to the side of the pictures. But as I told you, you can't use all of these for every picture. According to the picture you have, you can use something different that you think fits best. So in this example, I will show you how we can use the foreground and background. I want you to look at this picture, look at the foreground, look at the background. You can tell me in the comments as well, what do you see in the background and what do you see in the foreground? You can just write 2 or 3 words, okay? What's the background, what's the foreground? And I will show you an example of what you can possibly write about that. So you could say, in the foreground, we can see a family enjoying their time together, relaxing and reading. While in the background, a Christmas tree is visible. Okay, so we have foreground family, background Christmas tree. And you can see how you can link with the word while to show the difference. In the foreground we have this, while in the background we have that. Now, I want you to keep that in mind because I will show you another picture and I want you to do exactly the same thing for our new picture. Right, what do you see in the foreground and what do you see in the background? All right? And we will be doing that throughout the class. I will be showing you an example and you're going to do exactly the same thing with a different picture straight afterwards. So let's try the first one. This is your picture. Look at it very, very carefully and write a short sentence. In the background, we say this, while in the foreground, we say that. And you can start with each of the two you want. You can start with the background, you can start with the foreground. It's your choice, whatever you think would be best. You can see here, I want you to look at the back of the picture. What do you see at the back of the picture? What objects do you see, maybe? Which place do you see? And then look at the foreground where the picture focuses. What is the focus of the picture? Okay, so you don't have to make a really, really complex sentence. You can keep it simple. Now I will show you a possible answer, but many things could be possible here. That's what I wrote. In the foreground, we can see a group of people having fun, while the background shows the snowy peak of a mountain. Okay, so in the foreground we have people, a group of people. In the background we have snowy mountains. You could have written anything else, and if you are still writing, continue doing that and send me your answer. I will be checking your comments to see what you wrote and give you tips. Okay? So that's the first thing that I want you to keep in mind. Are you ready to go to something else which is really, really important and will untie your hands? If you have this, you can describe any picture. It's pretty simple. It's just the basic information, but having this in mind can really help. So what do you tell me about the picture? You answer the WH questions. Who? Who is in the picture? What? So what are they doing? Where? Where are they? When? And of course, it's not necessary to use them in the specific order. You can give me that information in any order you want, as long as it is coherent, it makes sense, okay, and it's well linked. So we will see these basic questions, the who, what, where, and when, separately, one by one. Let's start with the who. If you look at my example picture, we can see the four people, probably a family, mother, father, two children. So that's what we're going to say, and let's put this in a sentence. The photo shows four people who are obviously a family, the parents and their two children. So, difficult? No, just the basic information. The only thing that you need to do is to keep that information in your mind and put it together in one simple sentence. Okay? And now, again, we will do the same, you will do the same with the picture I showed you before. So go in the comments and in the live chat and try to describe who do you see in this picture. I'll give you a moment as well. Okay, so try to do what I did before. I said that I see four people, a family, the parents, and the two children. What similar information can you tell me about these people that you see in the specific picture? Take a few minutes. Again, as I told you, try to keep it simple. The only thing that I want to is to link your sentence in a nice way. Okay? The only thing that you really need to do is have a simple sentence that makes sense. Okay? And if you want, you can, as I did before, I told you that the people were a family, so I focused on the relationships between the people, the roles of the people, in a sense. You can do the same with these people. What do you think is their relationship? What do you think is their role in the group, etc.? All right. So keep writing your answers as well. I will be checking them. And let's see one example of what we could have written. So you could say the photo shows four people who might have friendly or romantic relationships. Okay, so maybe they're all friends, maybe they're two couples. Okay, so you can have an or here, okay? They might have friendly or romantic relationships. And then you can make it more specific. Both the men and the women look as if they're having a great time. So what do we learn here? We learn that we have four people. They might be friends or they might be couples. And we have two men and two women. And that's a lot of information. That's everything we need. So you see so far that you don't need to write something extreme as long as you give me the information and have a good sentence that makes sense. Let's go to our next WH question. It is the when. Now, in my example picture, I think you can give me some pretty accurate information about the when if you really pay attention to the details in the picture, in the background, etc. And I will show you my example. So you can see, as we said before, you can see Christmas tree in the background. So we can continue by saying, from the decorations, it is evident that it is Christmas. So the children might have holidays. It could possibly be Christmas morning. Okay, so you see that I have Christmas as a time, and then I include more periods. I include the word holidays. So that's when as well. And I include something more specific as well, like Christmas morning. So you can make it as wide or as specific as you want according to the information you have. If you don't have specific information like the Christmas tree here, you can give me something more general about the season, the time of the day. But if you have something that gives you a good idea, you can make it much more specific. Now, let's try to do the same with our example picture. Go on in the comments and tell me, when is this taking place? And as I told you, you can tell me the season, you can tell me if it's holidays, you can tell me, I don't know, when. It could be, if we saw just a couple, we could say it's a honeymoon trip or something. You could say it's a graduation trip, anything. That's a when as well. And here I think many things help you. If you focus at the background, if you focus at what they're wearing, maybe this can help you as well. And if there is something confusing between information that you have, you can show this ambiguity or this confusion in your sentence that I think it's this, but after looking more carefully, it might be that. Okay, so it's good to give me information. You can continue writing, as I said again, and let's see one example of what we could write. Now, here I say, at first glance, like looking it for the first time, it seems as if they are on a winter holiday because I saw the mountains. Okay, but with a closer look, their clothes reveal that it is probably summer. So you see that you can give me more information and you can lay out your thoughts, okay? So here I'm telling you, I thought it was winter, but as it turns out, it must be summer. And of course, you could tell me it's, I don't know, the end of spring. It could be the end of spring because of the clothes again. And let's continue with the where. Now here in our picture, the where is easy. You're going to tell me in a house. But if you want, you can make it more specific. For example, which room in the house do you think they are? Or if you see a picture showing a landscape, you can even try to make it more specific by telling me it's a mountain and it might be Everest, or it might be in this continent, it might be in Asia, and it might be in Europe. Okay, so you can try to guess, to speculate according to the information you have. My example here is they're spending family time in their cozy house and relax in what seems to be their living room. So I have two pieces of information regarding where I have house and the living room. Now you are going to do the same for our next picture. Take a minute and write. Where do you think these people are according to the information that you have? Okay, where could they be? Where might they be? So, of course, the most obvious thing that you could say is that they are on a mountain, but you can expand it in different ways if you want. And there are things that can give you information. And after that, you need to use your creativity and your imagination to let the hints, the clues guide you to a guess. One example that I have here for the same picture is it is likely they have visited the mountain for hiking or in order to relax at a mountain resort. So I have mountain resort. Okay, if you wanted and you had an idea, maybe you have been in a similar place, you could say, it seems as if they are um, on the Alps, I don't know, or any other mountain. And let's continue with what. Okay, now here we go for actions. What are they doing? And of course, you can find many different verbs to use. You can try to find something collective. What are they all doing? You can make it more specific by telling what each of the people is doing. Okay? You can give us a general impression or a detail, as we said before. It's up to you. My example here is I start with the children, okay? The children have an open book in front of them, which could be a fairy tale. And then I move on to the parents, and the parents are sitting close to them, being attentive and helping them read, or maybe reading the story for them. Okay? So what actions I use here? They have a book, the parents are sitting, the parents are attentive, they are helping the children, they are reading a story to the children. And of course, in this example, you could have written many more different actions. Okay, you could have said the father is reading the story to the children while the mother is looking at the book and listening carefully. Or the children are enjoying the story that their father is reading to them. It's up to you. And let's do the same for our next picture. Okay, what are these people doing? Go to the comments and tell me. I think you can find a lot of things to write. There are a lot of information there. Take your time. And remember, you don't have to write a lot, but try to be as accurate as possible. Okay, as I said, you can do it collectively. What is everyone doing? Or maybe you can take it person by person. Now, person by person, it can be much longer if you want to add more words in your writing. But if you are fine as far as the word count is concerned, you can just write something collective. Like my example. I have various actions here. They must be walking around the mountain and taking various pictures because they carry cameras. It is possible that at that particular moment, someone has just made a joke, as their face expression and body language reveals they are all laughing hard. So what I have, walking, taking pictures, someone has made a joke and they are laughing. I have 4 basic actions. And we could have written much more, but this is just a summary of what I see in the picture. So this was the last of the WH. We saw who, when, where, what. And what I want to focus on, taking this specific slide as a guide, is the tenses. What tenses do we use when we describe a picture? If you paid attention or if you noticed the tenses used in all the pictures previously described, these 4 tenses were the basis. Well, actually, the last one may not be very common. Mostly we would use present simple, present continuous, and present perfect simple, but you can use present perfect continuous sometimes as well. I will show you the last example that we wrote. Okay, so the first one, you see they must be walking. Now here I have continuous, but I have used it with a modal. Instead of saying they are walking, I want to show a little bit of certainty, so I just say they must be walking. Taking pictures, okay. You see here that the verb to be is missing from the continuous. That's because we are connecting the sentences with and. They are walking and talking. You don't need to use the verb to be again. Then I have carry, a present simple. They carry cameras. And you can see a present perfect simple as well. I tell you that I think that someone has just made a joke, something recently finished, and I can see that, I can guess that because they are laughing. So you see that present continuous is the king of the tenses when we are describing a picture, because it is as if you are experiencing the actions now, right now. All right? So keep that in mind. Present continuous is the most common tense, and then you can also use your present simple, present perfect simple, etc. And having in mind this example, I want to do some practice. I have a different picture for you here. You can look at the picture for a minute. And your task is to describe the picture by writing 4 sentences. I only want 4 sentences, okay? And you must use a different present tense for each sentence. So write 1 sentence with present simple, 1 sentence with present continuous, 1 sentence with present perfect simple, and 1 sentence with present perfect continuous. Okay, I'll give you a minute to do that. I think the two first at least should be very easy, the present simple and the present continuous. For the present perfect simple, as I did before, you can write what have they just done, something that has just finished, maybe, okay? And for the present perfect continuous, remember, we are talking about something that had a long duration, and I can see the results of this action. For example, if you see me, if you see that my eyes are red, you could say, she must have been studying for hours. Okay, so you can do something similar for this picture. I remind you again, I want 4 sentences. And let me show you a few examples. The first one is with present simple. The people shown in the picture are clearly athletes. So we have the fact. And then we go to present continuous. What are they doing now? They are lying on the track and trying to catch their breath. Okay? They are relaxing. Then I go to the present perfect simple. They must have just finished the race because they seem exhausted. And you see how I have used the modal again here in order to show certainty. Instead of just saying they have just finished the race, I tell you they must have just finished the race. Okay, it's a high possibility. And the last one with present perfect continuous, they look as if they have been running for hours. And do you remember this expression? We saw that a few lessons back with the verb senses. Look as if, feel as if, seem as if, smells as if, and a clause. So you can see how these are used here. If you have any questions so far, go to the comments and let me know, guys, okay? And I will answer all your questions. And after we have talked about the structure, the WH words that you can use to give basic information, the tenses that you need, let's go to another very important skill, the skill of speculating. It's guessing, okay? And there is vocabulary, specific vocabulary that you can use in a writing to show that you're not sure, that you're just speculating. I want you to look at these sentences. These are taken from the examples we saw before, from our example pictures. And go to the comments and the live chat, write down which are the words, which is the vocabulary that we use to speculate, to show that we are not sure. I'll read the sentences for you one more time and you can go and write, okay? The photo shows four people who might have friendly or romantic relationship, which is the word or phrase that speculates. It could possibly be Christmas morning. It seems as if they are on a winter holiday, but with a closer look, their clothes reveal that it is probably summer. They relax in what seems to be their living room. It is likely that they have visited the mountain for hiking. It is possible that at that particular moment someone has just made a joke. They look as if they have been running for hours. So, which are the words that reveal speculation? I don't think it's really hard. I'm sure that you know most words, but sometimes maybe you don't feel as comfortable using them, or they don't come to your mind to use them as alternatives. So let's see. We have might, of course, may, might, very common. Could possibly. You see here that we have combined two words. If you wanted, you could just keep one. It could be Christmas morning. Or it possibly is Christmas morning. If you want, you can write both for extra speculation. Then we have it seems as if. So all the verb senses that we learned in the previous class are used for speculation. Okay. You look tired. I speculate that you're tired. You look as if you were studying all night. Then we have probably, it is probably summer. Seems to be is very common. They relax in what seems to be their living room. Or you could say another example, she reads what seems to be a novel. He reads what seems to be a comic book. You have it is likely, okay, so it is possible, it's the same. It is likely that they have visited, it is possible that someone has made a joke. And last, again, we have as if, they look as if they have been running for hours. So all these expressions can be used for speculation, guys. And you can see here the full writing that came out from my example pictures. These are all the sentences that I used to describe the family picture. You can read it all at once now, okay? The photo shows four people who are obviously a family, the parents and their two children. In the foreground, we can see the family enjoying their time together in a loving atmosphere and reading. while in the background a Christmas tree is visible. From the decorations, it is evident that it is Christmas, so the children might have holidays. It could possibly be Christmas morning. They are spending quality family time in their cozy house and relax in what seems to be their living room. The children have an open book in front of them, which could be a fairy tale, and the parents are sitting close to them, being attentive and helping them read, or maybe reading the story for them. So you see that all these small sentences that we used in isolation to describe the foreground and the background and to answer the questions who, what, where, when give you exactly 120 words, which is the minimum that is asked of you in exams and course book writing activities. So you can see that it's not that bad. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is expressions that you can use to focus on what you can see, to focus on the ability to see something in the picture. I will give you an example. If you look at the first line, the photo shows four people who are obviously a family. The expression that we use to tell what we can see is the photo shows. So really quickly, I want you to go through the text one more time and in the comments or the live chat, write the words or expressions that are relevant to sight. What I can see, like the photo shows. Okay? We don't have a lot, I think it's 4 or 5, but it's things that I can see with my own eyes. If you look carefully, many of them have the root of the word see or the word vision, the ability to see. Okay. And these are the words. Okay. So the photo shows they are obviously a family. We can see the family. A Christmas tree is visible. Decoration from the decorations, it is evident and what seems to be their living room. So all these words show, see, visible, evident, seem are related to the ability to see, and they are very important variations that you can use when you describe a picture, because the main thing that you're doing is seeing something. Now, I want you to tell me if you have any questions, guys, okay? And I really hope that this helped you because I know that sometimes writing can be tricky, but it doesn't have to be tricky. So, you can still write any questions that you have before we finish. And let me recap a little bit. Today we talked about how we can write a description of pictures. In relation to that, we focused again on present tenses, which we use to describe pictures, and specifically the present continuous. And we touched upon some vocabulary, some phrases that we use for speculating. Remember, like possibly, might, is likely, and of course, expressions to show sight, like visible, evident, we can see, etc. So tell me, what did you learn today? Tell me if you liked the lesson and what did you find the most interesting thing that we did today. And that is the end of another class at SEDA College Online. I really hope you enjoyed it and I will be here for our next class. Okay, see you next time, guys. Bye.